Let's get to quarterback number 2 here, guys. And quarterback number 2 hails from, of course, much like Petey Pablo, North Carolina. Oh, yes. Am I the only one that feels really old, by the way, when you see these pictures of these kids with no helmets on?
I know, he's such a baby face.
It's like, dude, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's way too late for you to be up. Go to bed.
Yeah. It was a Channel 11 news. It's 10 o'clock. You know where your children are.
Yeah. He's in college. No one knows where he's at. Let's be honest. He's wherever he wants to be. So Drake Maye, 21 years from Charlotte, North Carolina. So he's a local boy. 6'4", 230 pounds. Played high school football at Myers Park High School, where he was named North Carolina's Football Player of the Year by Max Prep. Maye originally committed to Alabama before changing his mind and playing at North Carolina. Yeah, he's got an interesting career here, and I think this is the guy that I probably have the hardest job of trying to figure out my thoughts on. And we've talked about this before as well. It's the competition he plays. I can't get past some of that, guys. So we're going to do our best to give you that, but we're going to also take some of these stats in with a grain of salt because he's playing lesser talent than everybody else we're going to talk about in these next 2 days. It's 100% the truth.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about what I think when we get to the spots where we talk about his pros and cons. But sometimes you got good talent that goes to, not as good as schools, but still play well in the NFL. So
you mentioned Josh Allen before. I mean, Josh Allen went to Wyoming. I wouldn't call that a powerhouse school.
No, but I'm just saying, he's from North Carolina. He went to college in North Carolina. He didn't go to Alabama, probably because he's a homeboy.
We've got great experiences with quarterbacks in North Carolina. I mean, Dave Brown, Daniel Jones. What can go wrong?
Yeah. You never know till you try.
We tried twice. We're good. So freshman year, he redshirted, but he did still appear in 4 games, which is the max you can in a redshirt season. Starter Sam Howell got hurt. Name might ring a bell there for you guys. So he had a splitting time with Jacoby Criswell. So 4 games, 7 of 10 passing, 89 yards, 1 touchdown, 6 rushes for 62 yards. Obviously not a lot to go based on there. 22, though. Sam Howell leaves for the NFL. So Maye and Criswell got to battle it out for the starting spot. It was said to be very close, but Maye won. During the season, he would go on to break single-season school records for passing yards and touchdowns. He was also the team's leading rusher, finished 10th in Heisman voting, and the team went 9-5 and lost to Oregon in the Holiday Bowl by just 1 point. Let's be honest, Oregon's a much better roster than North Carolina. Let's not even try to front otherwise and say otherwise because, it's not even close, guys. 14 games, 66.2 completion percentage, 4,321 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 148 rushes for 698 yards. That's a 3.8 yard per carry average, 7 touchdowns. ACC Rookie of the Year, first team All ACC, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, ACC Player of the Year. So, a lot of awards. A lot of awards, guys. And then we get into the issue that he has the same issue that Caleb Williams has. Comes into this year, all hyped up, and doesn't have as quite a good a year. Now, there were changes in North Carolina. Obviously, he lost his top receiver as well in Josh Downs, who got drafted as well, but not that Downs was the same quality of receiver as, Caleb lost because Jordan Addison's just a freaking beast, but it's still, you lost your top receiver. So now Chip Lindsey also is the OC with former OC Phil Longo leaving for Wisconsin. Something about enjoying cheese and a good charcuterie board. So Maye started off the season very well. And Omarion Hampton developed into a great back for the Tar Heels as well, which helped take some of the load off of May. But he struggled down the stretch, and they lost 4 of the last 6 games this season. So the team ended up 8-4 and made the Mayo Bowl, which May elected to sit out for and not play because draft. 12 games, 63.3 completion percentage, 3,608 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 112 rushes, 449 yards, 4 yards per carry average there, 9 touchdowns, and another guy who punts occasionally, apparently. 1 punt for 45 yards in the season, too. Second team All ACC. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the ACC. But again, the ACC is not the offensive powerhouse that the Pac-12 is. The ACC is not the overall powerhouse the SEC or the Big 12 or, some of these other conferences are. If you can't even be first team All ACC, I'd have a little bit of a question mark there if I go to get you a second overall pick.
Yeah.
That's part of where my issues come into is you played mostly crap teams, guys. Mostly crap teams. I mean, literally, we're going to go over the game log, same as we did with Caleb Williams here. One of his best defenses he faced was Duke.
Duke.
Like, Duke is not a powerhouse team. Ask Daniel Jones. That's how bad it was. And he beat the hell out of the bad teams.
Which he should.
Yeah. And, didn't do bad against the good teams. But I didn't see that signature win.
Yeah.
And that's what stops me from being confident in this guy overall. Here's what he did against top defenses. So Clemson, 16 of 36, 484.4 completion percentage. Not very good there, obviously. 209 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 10 rushes for 67 yards. Not bad in the rushing. Passing, not very good. Against Duke,
no.
28 of 43, 65.1 completion percentage, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 12 rushes, 22 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, not bad yardage-wise, but not I crushed it day.
Yeah, it's also not a terrible day overall.
No.
We're playing against a better team, but
it's also Duke.
Also,
I had to struggle to find a third team to put on this list.
Yeah.
I almost put the Camels on he faced. He did face the Camels.
He got camel toed.
He beat the Camel Toes. Then Miami. He did face the Hurricanes as well. 17 of 33. It's a 51.5 completion percentage. 273 yards, 3 touchdowns, 10 rushes, 10 yards. Not bad in the touchdowns, but very low completion percentage. Not doing much with the legs. Like I said, I don't have enough data on him against really good teams. And that's the problem I look at there. So
correct.
What it really boils down to is how polished is he? How much room for improvement is there? And I actually think there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yes. I was going to say he's a very coachable player. You can even see with through the year as he changed schemes and as he changed the way he played through the years, especially last year, like when he was getting outside the pocket a little bit.
Can't do Kenny Rogers with his voice.
You can see that he was a little confused, a little like wasn't sure what to do. But as the game progressed, he got more comfortable in the pocket, stepped into the pocket. What game was that? Was that I'm thinking of? But he definitely improved on the spot, which means he can be coached under pressure, which means he can be coached even better when he's not under pressure, which means you definitely can't do Freddie Mercury either.
I can't do anything. It's also David Bowie.
Under pressure. It's actually both of them.
That's what I said. It's both of them, yeah. So here's we got the pros and cons here. So pros, great pocket mobility. He allows for great ball control with speed. What I mean by that is when you look at some of his plays, He has the perfect amount of touch on it. It's a fastball when it has to be. You obviously we use some baseball terms here. It's a changeup when it's got to be. It's an in between when it's got to be. I mean, he's got that kind of abilities, and he's got prototypical NFL size. Again, I know he looks like he just graduated from Cub Scouts here, but 6'4", 230 pounds. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm bigger, but I'm weird.
It's like he stayed in North Carolina and worked the farm or something.
Yep, work at those cow food. We're the cornfields, tipping cows over. Here's the cons. Needs to work on his lower body mechanics. That's one of the biggest things. His legs are all over the place. His upper body is amazingly done, perfect, precise, and that's why he's able to throw the way he can throw. His lower body needs work.
Yes.
He holds onto the ball way too long. And he's also a risk taker.
Yeah, he tries to play hero ball a little bit.
Yeah.
Which in NFL, it's hard to do if you're not going to be
I can be your hero, baby.
I could take away your pain.
It's all right. Even Julio Iglesias can't do Julio Iglesias, so therefore it's okay. He's such a bad singer. It's still all over my TikTok. His bad concerts.
That's amazing.
So this is the guy, I tell you, out of all the 6 guys we talk about, this is the guy who would benefit the most from a red shirt year.
Yeah.
I really think if he went to a team like the Giants, hypothetically, I'm not advocating to get him. I'm just saying, using it as an example, that we can have Daniel Jones start the season. Let him sit, develop, and not rush him in. I think that's what's best for him. I think if you throw him to the wolves right off the bat when he's not ready, you're going to ruin him. You're going to ruin him point blank.
No, I agree. That's a perfect thing because he's young. He's 21.
Yeah,
he's got time to develop to be a very good player. You put him, so to say, hypothetically, Jets get him. He sits behind Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully, he doesn't learn his pompousness, but he learns to play the quarterback position from one of the best. That he will be a Hall of Famer. If you Hall of Famer, I just use that as an example. You got a quarterback that's up there in years. It's going to be one of the best that it's not going to be there long. You're right.
Yeah, Jordan Love and him had a great relationship.
Hey, but listen, Jordan Love didn't look so bad this year.
Just
didn't look fantastic. I'm just saying, you in a scenario. I was just using Aaron Rodgers because he's not going to be around long, and Jets across. It's right down the road.
Yes.
Different locker room.
Yes. Same building.
Yeah.
All right. So before we give our final verdicts here, guys, again, same thing. If you haven't already, let's pop it in the comments section. Let's hear what you guys have to say on Drake Maye here. So for my final verdict, I'm giving 2 different players. One is a floor, one is a ceiling. His ceiling to me is Justin Herbert. That's where I have him at. Good thrower, great arm, a little bit of mobility, but not going to be your guy's going to run all over the place like Lamar Jackson. His floor is Daniel Jones. That's what I see him as. That's the floor. A guy that's a guy who can not embarrass himself at times in the field, but never excel, which is what Daniel Jones is. Let's be honest. Daniel Jones is a low-end starter to a high-end backup.
Yeah, listen, you're not wrong with say that. I thought he played a little bit more like Trevor Lawrence, like his style. Granted, I think he could go into a lot of different schemes, but I had Trevor Lawrence as kind of like his ceiling coming out. Yeah, he's got a lot of hype behind him, and I also went a little the little meaner there and said he's more like a Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, okay.
A guy that had a lot of hype coming out and can't find the field anywhere.
So is he mentally weak, do you think? Because that's Carson Wentz's thing. Like, he was good until all of a sudden his confidence was a shot and he was just gone.
I'm just saying the lack of play. He never came back from that the injury. After, granted, he won the Super Bowl, but he wasn't the starting quarterback.
No, ask any Eagle fan. They'll tell you really quickly.
Big Dick Nick.
The tale of Nick Foles, the folk hero.
Yep, still known around in the Philly area. Big Dick Nick.
Let's see. Mark says Drake Maye, I'm intrigued, but still on the fence with him for value, not at 6. Deb says lukewarm on Drake Maye, not at 6.
He's not going to make it.
Mark says for this year's talent at QB, value is in round 2 with Nix and Penix. Connor says agreed and says, but I take Drake Maye over Daniels personally if we move up.
Listen,
well, that's fun.
It's a very good quarterback class this year.
It is.
Of people coming out. If Cleve was not in this class, Drake Maye would be number 1 and most people's boards without a doubt.
Oh yeah.
So he's
still number 1 on some people's boards.
Yeah. So
he's number 2 in mine.
Who does number 2 work for?
Depends. We'll find out at draft day.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.